Hey, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to learn about how you can sell anything to anyone. And I will be going through a complete sales guide, a complete sales process, and I will be explaining all the sales process so that you would be able to sell anything to anyone. So, guys, it sounds exciting, and while making these videos, before making these videos, I have been watching a lot of sales movies, even sales books like Spin Selling and The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, and lot of things. And I have also read a lot of blogs, and I gathered some knowledge. I had some research about how people sell and how successful salesmen works, and what happens in their mind, and what is the only one process that really makes a good salesman stand out in the crowd. So this video is going to be very kind of long video, so I hope you will be able to understand the complete video. And if you don't understand anything, as we all know that sales and marketing is one of the highest paying job, and these are the things that is worth developing in your life, because selling and marketing is one of the most important thing as thing you should develop as an entrepreneur and as a business person. So I'll be going through all the topics through like what is the kind of mindset that is required to be a good salesperson, and how to sell complete the sales map that I'll be giving you, so that you will be going through the different process of sales and you will be able to close the sale immediately and as soon as possible. That will develop the skill that is required. And guys, in the process of high ticket selling, it is very important to go through all the process, touching each and every point, and making people understand what your product and service is and how it can be benefit for them. So let's talk about this selling process. And this video might be a long one, and but it's worth watching for you, and it will give you a better intuition and better idea about sales and marketing. So let's start with the topic. So as you all know that sales is one of the highest paid job. If you can sell a millions, if you can sell to a million people, you can easily make $1 million. So in order to be a millionaire, in order to be a billionaire, you have to develop the sales ability, the sales skill. And it's not that you cannot develop the sales skill. It is the skill of sales, the skill of selling is that you can develop in yourself by continuous practicing, by repetitive, as Napoleon Hill says, repetition. By repetition you can develop the skill. So what do you need to start with? So before starting with the sales process, before going to learn about the sales process, you need to have a good mindset. You need to have a right mindset to go through all the sales process, because most of the people don't see sales job as a like lucrative job, or they don't like selling anything to anyone. They think that selling is something kind of like cheating people, but it's not like that. You need to develop that mindset that you are doing something good for the society. And when you are selling something, when you are providing value to someone, then what you are doing is basically you are helping the economy to grow. You are selling something, you are helping the economy to grow, like the GDP, the inflation, and all sort of things. So you need to have that mindset that you are doing something good for the society. It's not like that you are doing something like selling drugs or selling alcohol or something like that. So you need to have a good mindset in order to go for the selling process. So I'll be giving you an example, a storyline, so that you could be able to develop that mindset. So for the example, I'll be talking about like a restaurant example. Let's take an example of a coffee shop. Like I really like to enjoy coffee while I was working and while I was making videos and all sort of things. And I'll be talking about in the last couple of days I went to a coffee shop, and that coffee shop was really great. It was it was very not that much big one. It was a small one, and the people over there was very good, and the service was very good. They provide the coffee was really nice. And what I did was, when I came from that coffee shop, I called called one of my friend that I found a really good coffee shop to hang out, and if you want to go for that coffee shop, and it's really good and premium, the coffee tastes really good, and the people over there were really good. So what I did was, I shared the information. What I was doing was, I was really selling. I was selling the product and services of that coffee shop to my friend in a unconscious manner. So you need to have that. When I was telling to my friend that I found a really great coffee shop, I was really selling that coffee shop, really selling the coffee, the ambient, the experience that I had with my friend. So you need to have that mindset that you are not basically selling, you are basically sharing the information. That is what selling is. Selling is not about cheating people, it's about sharing the information with others in a manner so that they can buy your product and service. So when you're doing that, you are helping the economy, you are helping the people that you are going for, that you are selling, that you are transferring that you are giving the information to. So that is what selling is, and a lot of people don't understand this. And this is how you build the sales mindset before going for the sales process. You need to develop the mindset that is required for that. And when you have the right mindset while you are going for selling, that will eventually develop authenticity in your mind. When you are authentic, when you are totally excited about the product and the services that you are providing, then you don't need any support, or you don't need anything to sell that product and service. When you believe in your product and service, you can deliver that, you can sell that easily. Okay, so we have talked about the selling mindset, how you can develop that mindset. Now let's talk about how you can sell that. You have great product and service, you have find out the need of the customers, you had a really great marketing skills, and you developed a really good product and service. But the most important thing is that how you sell your product and service, by amplifying the needs, by amplifying the problems and the frustrations of the people that you want to serve. So how you can do that, how you can share the information that you want to share. So let's talk about that. And the best thing is that you need to practice that. You need to practice the sales process, you need to go through all the steps. And one thing that you need to practice always while you are going for selling, when you want to sell your product and service, the most important thing that you need to practice while as a salesman, as an entrepreneur or businessman, that is the first part of going for any sales process, is you need to identify the features, the specific features of that product and service, and you need to define how it will benefit the customers or the prospect that you are talking to, by attaching the advantage of the product and service that you are having. So how you can do that? So what you can do is, you can tell the customer or the prospect that, hey, Mr. Prospect, our product has this facility, and this will help you to do this, so that you will not be able to have this kind of problem. This is how you explain. And for example, let's take an example of a shoe. which is basically which is a specific feature of water repellent feature. Okay, so how you can explain the features of that product? So you can explain like this: hey, Mr. Prospect, so our product is a water repellent shoe, which is different from the products that are available from in the market, and it will help you to walk in the rain, in the water, without any issues, so that you will be able to walk freely in the rainy road, in rain, you don't have to you will not have any problem while you are dealing with water. So this is how you explain people, and you need to practice this thing, that to explain all those advantages, the features of your product and service. That is how you sell. And we'll be talking about, and we'll be going through the whole sales process one by one. So before going for a sales process, so you need to develop a profile of the prospect. You cannot sell anything like you cannot sell a shoe to a people who don't have legs. You cannot sell an ice cream to a person who is living in the North Pole or the South Pole. That cannot be happen. People will not buy such kind of product that will not benefit them. In today's market, they will not buy that product and service. And you cannot cheat people. You can only inspire them to buy the product and services. You cannot manipulate them. So let's talk about the developing the profile of the prospect. How you can do that? So when you want to develop the profile of the prospect, which is identifying who are your dream customers. So what you need to do is you need to list out the people that you want to serve. You need to categorize them in specific manner, and you have to develop the product according to their need. What you can do is you have to prioritize the people that you want to talk to or that you want to serve. According to the priority list, you will be developing a prospect profile. So what you need to do is you have to identify the profile of our customer by listing them, by categorize them, by setting the priority that who you want to serve. And when you do all those things, that will help you make a complete map for your selling process. When you know your customer, when you know the problems and the frustrations that they are going through, then you will be able to serve them well enough. So the next thing is you need to show them how you are different from the people from the product and services that they are using right now. How you are different. What is the competitive advantage that you have? So you need to analyze the competitive advantage or the features. What you can do is you can add the benefits and the advantage. When you find out the feature of that product and services, you can add the benefits, you can add the advantage that they will get, the problem, how their problem will be solved by using your product and service. So that we have to what you have to do is we have to identify 3 or 5 numbers of the competitive advantage that your product or service have. And you need to, before talking about the competitive advantage, you need to analyze the product and the services that are available in the market. Okay, so when you identify them, when you find out the competitive advantage that our product has this advantage, and this advantage will help you in this way, and the benefits that you will be getting is this, and this will solve this kind of problems that you have. And the next thing is you need to have a clear goal. You need to have a perfect sales process, because if you don't have a process, if you don't have a specific guideline or process, then you will not be able to find out the problems in your sales funnel, or you will not be able to find out what is wrong with and what is wrong with your sales process, and why you are not being able to sell anything to anyone. And when you have a complete sales process, when you know what to do next, what to talk next, and when you know what you are talking about, you will be able to sell persistently and consistently. Okay, you will find out the problems, the loopholes that is in your sales process, and you will be able to identify and solve that problem that you will be having. So the next thing is, when you create a sales process, it requires consistency manner. It is very much required for in order to be consistent in selling. Okay, so if you want to be a good salesperson, you have to develop a sales process. So let's talk about the sales process, and by talking about each sale process, by going through one by one, you will be getting a better intuition and insight of the sales process. I'll be going through all the 7 process that I found, and some of them I have found from the blogs, from the videos, from the books that I have read. And I hope that these videos and these vlogs and the research that I have done will be able to help you to be a good salesperson, to be able to give you the required skill to be a better salesperson. So let's talk about one by one. And the first thing is research. The second thing is you have to do the meeting, then the presentation, demos, options, pricing, and the close. And the closing part is very important, and the research part is also very important. And let's talk about one by one. So in the sales process, the first thing is you need to be expert in that particular product and service, or you need to be expert in the kind of field that you are in. You need to in order to be an expert, in order to be in that expert in that particular field or the product and service that you are selling, you have to do research about that particular product. Researching about your product and competitors before you get into selling process is very important and very crucial. You have to be an expert, as it's also written in the book The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, that you have to be an expert and you should know what you are talking about. And when you are an expert, when you know what you are talking about, you will be able, and then people will be able to find you as an expert problem solver, because you know what you are talking about. You are aware of the problems, you are aware of the product and service that you are providing, and you have to do research before you are going for the sales process. And you can educate yourself, you can do more and more research to find out more and more about your product and service. And when you know more, when you have that when you know about the competitors, the product and services and everything, people will think of you as an expert. They will be able to they will feel safe around you. They will feel that you are the one who is going to solve their problems because you are an expert. And the next thing is, after doing the research, you are going for the meeting. Let's talk about the meeting part. So you have done the research about your product and service. Now you are going for the meeting. So when you know about your product and services, it's very easy to convince people. It's very easy to identify their problems and frustrations that they are having, and you can. And the most important part of sales process is meeting, presentation, demo, and everything is very important. But meeting is also very important. Because here when you are doing the one-on-one personal selling, you will be able to understand the consumer behavior, and when you know the behavior, and when you know the why it's very important to know why people buy, and why people buy when they Why do people really buy? And introduction and meeting is plays a very important role to identify why people buy and what are their problems and the frustrations. So introduction in the introduction phase, when you are meeting people, you need to ask open-ended questions, so that when you ask open-ended question, your prospect is answering you, or your consumer is answering the problems that they are facing. And when they explain what kind of things, what kind of value they require to in order to solve that problems, and what really are the problems they are facing. And when you listen to them, and you have to be a good listener. When you are meeting someone, you have to be a good listener. So when you ask open-ended questions one by one, when you ask them, they will explain everything to you, so that you will be able to gather the information that is required. So when you gather those information, and when you will be able to know their problems, their pain points, and and what is the most important thing that they really want, what are they looking for. And when you know that, you will be able to sell your product and service very efficiently. And if you ask close-ended question, it's not like that you are only asking the open-ended question. It's very important to ask the close-ended questions also. It's good for the confirmation. Mr. Customer or the Mr. Prospect, do you like to buy our product and services? Because close-ended questions is very important while you are closing the sale. Now we have to we'll be talking about how you will be able to know the pains. So when you are talking to a prospect, when you are talking to your customer, what you can do is you can ask them open-ended questions when they explain about themselves and how they feel about the product, and what do they need, and what really means value in their terms. And when you know that, you can apply the 80-20 principle, which is the Pareto principle. And always remember that the 80% of the sale is done when you are talking to people, when you are meeting with people. In the process of sales, it's also the Pareto principle, it's also applying. And when you are talking to people, when you are talking to the prospect, you have to ask open-ended questions, so that they will be doing the 80% of the talking will be done by the customer, and you will be doing the 20% of the questions. Remember, always I always give the example of the TV show by Antonio, and he's really good. He's Victor Antonio, and he's really a good salesperson. I really love this content, and he's really great in sales and marketing. So he always gives the example of TV show example, that when you are talking one-on-one with a customer, and you are selling something like high-end product, so what you need to do is you have to ask open-ended questions one after one another. So when you ask them, when you gather the information, it's like you are doing the 20% of the talking. And when you are in a TV show, when someone is talking, the spotlight always should be on that person. So in just remember that, and just think that you are in a TV show, and the customer is with you, and you always have to ask questions, so that the focus or the spotlight should be always on the customer or the prospect. You need to keep that in your mind. Okay, so that was the TV show example, and let's talk more about that meeting process. So what you can do is you can ask more and more open-ended questions, and you can gather information. You can get more and more information by asking those questions. What you can do is you can list down the information and the problems and the frustrations, and what really means value towards them. What do they looking for? What are they looking for in your product and service? So what you can do is you can pull as much as information you want. What do they think about a salesperson? What do they think about your product? What are they really expecting from your product? And how they think that your product will help them. So when you pull as much as information from them, collecting the information, problems, frustrations that your customer is having, and you can do that by asking the situational questions also, like by how the changing economy, the changing environment is impacting them, and all sort of situation based question. As and to ask such kind of questions, it's a very good book to read is Spin Selling by Neil Wig. So in the spin selling process, the first one is this: you are asking the situational based questions, which is S stands for the situation. And in the spin process, P is the problems, and I is the implication, and N is the last part, and it is also very important. So we have been talking about the spin selling process. Spin selling is one of the best book and one of the classic book. It was the book was published around 1987, but it's still applicable right now. So in that spin selling process, what you are doing is you are basically asking the 4 type of questions for gathering the information that you are that is needed for while you are meeting people, while you are identifying the problems of your customers. And the 4 types are like the situational based question, the problem identification questions, and the implication questions that you are amplifying that. And the next one is the need payoff questions. Okay, so when you are asking those questions, you are basically identifying or the gathering the information that is needed while you are going for the presentation process. So this is all about the meeting process, and I hope you have got to know about the meeting process. And I really recommend you to buy the book of spin selling. It's around something like 1000 rupees or something. So it's a really good book to understand the sales process. And I also recommend you to buy the Way of the Wolf by the Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. It is one of the best book for sales and marketing. These I really recommend these 2 books to understand more about these topics. So the next phase is the presentation phase, where you are presenting about the products and services, the importance, and how those product and services will help your customer. So in the presentation time, you basically incorporate the issues, the problems, and the frustrations, and the values that your product and services that have in the presentation while you are presenting your product and services. And when you are incorporating and you are identifying those those problems that they are having, and you are basically blocking the objection by putting in solution to that objection. So when you are blocking those objection of the customers or the prospect, like for example, like pricing, pricing is one of the common objection that most of the people having, the most of the customers are having. So you need to really identify, or you need to show that why your price is high. If your price is high, then why your price is high. You need to show them. You are not basically hiding the price. You should explain the pricing point also in the presentation. So you should not hesitate that to I should not play with the price first. We should go for the price, go for the solutions, go for the problems that they're having, and how your product will be solving their problems. And the next is list out the problems and the objection. While you're presenting, you have to identify the problem. You have to list out the problems and the objection that they will be having in the during the presentation. So in order to block the objection, in order to solve their problems, you have to list out them. When you list out them, and you are implying all those things, or you are incorporating all those problems and the objection that will be having that they will be having in the presentation part, then they will feel more they will feel more friendly. They will feel that you are an expert and you can solve their problem, and you have to show them that you are a born problem solver. Okay, that's what entrepreneurs are. That's what business people are. They are basically solving your problems. So what you need to do is you need to anticipate the objections and the problems, and then go for what you need to do is you have to go for incorporate all these objections and in your presentation. And when you explaining everything, when you are explaining everything every problems, every objections in your presentation, then what you're doing is you are making them feel that you are the one who is going to solve their problems. That is, so presentation phase is very very important and very very crucial if you want to block the objections, if you want to if you don't want to be conceived as a as not an expert in that, because in the presentation phase they will be able to know that if you know what you are talking about or not, if you are an expert or not. Because when you are presenting well, that is why most of the business school are more focused on the presentation part, the PowerPoint presentation and all sort of things. So the next part is the demo part, and demo is demonstration of your product and service, and how you can demonstrate that people will be able to understand what you are what's your product and services is. So demonstrating is very important. So after doing the research, after meeting your prospect, after finding out the problems and the objections that they will be having, and the pain points and all sort of things and so forth, after researching, after meeting, after the presentation part, what you do is now they are ready to buy. Now they want to see how your product is solving their problems, if it is solving their problems or not. So in this phase, what you have to do is you have to demonstrate your product. So demonstration or the demo of your product is very important. What you have to do is you have to give them a live demo. Live demo is very important, and it makes them feel secured, it makes them feel like they are using the product live. And that is why most of the TV commercial have live products. They show live products, they show how people are using. And you must have seen there are a lot of TV ads and a lot of YouTube channels are there who are doing who are showing the live demo of products, smartphones, mobile phones, by telling each and everything, that how it works, how the camera works, how the display works and everything. So that is how live demo works. And by telling them how to use your product and service, that Mr. Customer, this is our product and service, and you can use it by going through this step-by-step process. By this is the how-to process you are explaining. So you need to show them visuals, and you need to make them understand. So what you can do is, when you cannot make them show when you have no live demo, or when you don't have a visual effect, what you can do is you can show them an analogy. For example, you can show them like our product, or for example we are going for a product like shoes, and you can show them an analogy, like you can relate those things. You can create a mind map like thing that gives them an understanding and imagination and visual in their mind. Okay, so you can use the analogy, and you can make what you can do is you can create a storyline around your product and service and make them feel your product and service. You can show them before and after, like most of the health products or the fat reducing products are doing. You can show them the before and after pics, or the before and after the visual effect that you can do. That is how demonstration process works. So when you are demonstrating the features, the benefits and the advantage of your product and service, and how and when you are explaining how they will be solving your problems through demonstration, so that will help them understand what your product stands for and how that will be helpful for them. You have to demonstrate in a audio visual manner. You cannot make people understand only in the by telling that this is your product, this is how our product works, this is how it will help you. You have to give them a visual representation like video, analogy, before and after things, and a live demo and all sort of things. And what you can do is the next process is the option. So when after the process, after the developing options is very important. What you have done till now is that we have done the research, then we have done the meeting part. After doing the research, we go for the meeting, we talk to people, we ask them open-ended questions, and this is the part where we really ask the questions about how they think that our product is, and how it will be helpful, and what are their problems, and how it can be solved. And then we'll explain that how our product is beneficial for them and how it will be helping them get out of that problem. In this process, we are basically amplifying that problems. We are creating an urgency in their mind. So this is how it works. And the next thing is presentation phase, where we incorporate the objections, the problems in the presentation. We are showing them how our product is helpful. And the next thing is the demo phase, where we basically show the live demo, the analogy, and the before and after, and all sort of things. And the next thing is we'll be talking about the options. Now we'll be talking about the options and how you can give those options so that people will be able to buy what you want them to sell. So the thing is that you need to before going for the option part, you need to educate the people, you need to educate your prospect what your product and services stands for and how it will be helpful. And when you educate them while going through the option process, what you are doing is you have to show them 3 options, because it is very crucial and it is one of the most important thing that you need to concern while you want to sell. So what you are doing is you are giving them 3 options, that we are currently having such kind of 3 products, and what you are doing is we are showing them the 3 product and services. We are giving them 3 options: the cheapest one, the middle one, and the higher price, or the top one. And we're giving them that how these product will solve them, and how this product will help them go out of their how this product will help them get out of their problems. And you need to show them the pros and the cons associated with choosing those options. And after giving them the 3 options of choosing the product and services, you basically have to give them another option, the 4th invisible option. So in the 4th invisible option, what you're basically doing is you are giving them an option of not taking action. You can give them, like, you can show them that there are basically 4 options that you can do. You can either buy this product, you can either buy this product, and in the safer side you can either buy this product. Or what you can do is you cannot take action. You are not buying our product and services, and you have to explain them what is the problem that they will be having if they don't buy our product and services. So when you are explaining, then you are basically amplifying the problems. You are creating a storyline around that problem, and you are making them understand, and you are basically amplifying the problems, so that you are creating a sense of urgency in their mind, so that they will be able to understand the importance of buying the product. So most of the time in the safer side, they will be buying this in the 3 options, they will be buying the second one, because nobody want to take risk, nobody want to go for the lowest product, so they will be go for the safer side, the middle one, and the second product. So you have to keep the thing that you want to sell in the middle of that 3 options. Okay, so the process is like you are educating them, and the second is you are making them understand the pros and cons if they buy the product or if they don't buy the product. And the third is you are explaining the no action story, that what will happen if they don't take action. Then you are creating a sense of urgency. So I would like to give an example of doing such kind of option thing. For example, you are providing a consultancy service. So what you're doing is you are educating the companies who are going in loss or who are not performing well in the market. So basically what you're doing is you are asking them questions. In the first phase, you are doing the research on that company. Then what you are doing is you're meeting the people. You are meeting the people by talking to them what are the problems that they're having. And what you're doing is you are asking them open-ended questions, like situational questions. You can ask them questions like how the inflations, how the change in tax or the GDP, the country's GDP is affecting their business. So you can ask them situational question, how the digital marketing trend, the change in the environment, the change in the marketing policies, and all sort of things. The situational based questions, as we are talking about the spin selling process, the first thing is you have to ask situation based questions. So when you ask them situation based open-ended questions, they will be answering, like they will be explaining the problems that they are facing in their business. So when they explain that problem, when you will be what you are doing is you are gathering the information in the meeting process, and after gathering the information, you are listing down all those things, the information, the objections and everything, and you are presenting the presentation in front of the company as a consulting service company salesperson. So what you're doing is you're presenting everything. You are incorporating the objections, you are the problems, the frustrations, that everything you are explaining, that everything in that presentation process. Then you are giving them the live demonstration and how you can give them the testimonials. You can give them the you can give them proofs of how you have helped other businesses to grow. That is the demo process, the live demo. Like you can give them video testimonials, the audio testimonials, and everything you can give them. You can show them the results that you have you can show them the product and services that you have offered to other people. Then you can give them the options, the three options that you're talking about, the three kind of business consultancy service that you are providing, and how your consultancy service will help them grow their business, how that will and you have to explain them. You have to educate them about your product and service. Then you explain the pros and the cons that is associated, and how the change in the situation, the change in the problems that they are having, the implication of those problems, and what will happen if they don't take action. You are creating a storyline around that. Like if you are not taking action, you can tell them, like you can create a story around that problem. Like if they don't take action, eventually the situation is going to change over time. And if they are not going to change, if their business policies, the rules, the business policies that they are following, if they are not changing, if they are not taking action, if they are not taking any consultancy service, then what is the worst thing that can happen? They will not make as much money as they are making right now. They will not be able to grow as much as they want to, and they will not be able to make money. They will not be able to generate the profit, not even the break-even point and everything. So you can explain all those things and create a storyline around that. And you can create a sense of urgency for your product and service. And when they feel that this is very important and the consultancy service is right now very important for our business, they will be going for the pricing part. Then how the pricing is important. Pricing is very important for your business, because if you are going for a high-end product and you are selling those high-end product and services, so what you have to do is you should not hesitate or hold back while you're explaining the pricing. And it is very important, and you need to explain why. You need to understand the uh, understand the why when people buy, as like as it is very important to understand why when people buy. Okay, so give them a reasonable value that your pro company or the services that you are providing, and how it is different from other people's. Okay, so you have to show them the options that you are having. If you show them uh, if you show them two options, okay, they will go for the cheapest one. But if you show them three options, in addition with the fourth option of not taking action and amplifying those all sort of things, and when you give them the three options with added fourth option, and explaining the problems of not taking action and so forth, they will be most probably they will be choose the middle one. So what you can do is you can put the product and services that you want to sell in the middle first, in the middle of the product, middle of the two high-end product and the low-end product. Okay, people usually try to be in the middle part because they want to be safe, they want to be in the safer side. Okay, show them the pricing options, the how they can easily pay for our product and service. You can show them the options like the cash, the PayPal, Paytm, PhonePe, the net banking, and so forth. These are the pricing part, and you have to make them understand about that. You have to make them clear, make them understand that why if your pricing is very high, if you are going for the high-end ticket product, then why is it high. And the next process is the closing part, and closing part is very important. And in the closing part, after going through all those things, going through the research, meeting, presentation, demo, options, pricing, and all sort of things, you have to be this is closing part is very important, and the most important it is the most important part of the sales process. So the most skilled and the most experienced sales people are the greatest closers. So you need to close well. You have to understand the closing process. This is the most important part. And close the sale by using upsell and downsell. You have to understand the buying behavior of the persona that you have created, that how do they buy. When you understand all those things, when you have perfect research, when you are enthusiastic about your product and services, you are excited about your product, you are authentic, you are an expert, you would be able to give them the right kind of value. You will be able to understand their problems. You will be able to give them a good presentation without any objections. And when you follow all these processes of marketing and sales, you will be able to sell anything to anyone. So it is very important to understand the selling process. It is one of the highest paying job that is out there in the market. So you have to develop the selling skill. So this is the complete sales training video that I really fascinated by the people, by the sales process. And I would like to give you an example of the recent example that I have thought about the medical store. So recently I had some cold, and I went to a local doctor. He has a clinic nearby. So I went to the doctor, and while I was sitting there, so I was watching the patients. And one more thing I really want to tell, that the thing is that I was really fascinated by the selling process, the marketing, and making money out of that, entrepreneurship, business. So that is how I have developed my life. That is how I see the reality. So when I was sitting there, I was thinking about something like, I don't know what is that. So I was trying to make a video on sales and how sales work. So I have been going through I have been doing some research about making this video. So what I was looking for is that I was looking for the people that was going to the doctor and telling their problems and frustrations. So I have noticed one thing, that the doctor is also following the sales process while he is selling his medical service. So what he was doing is, he was sitting there, he was asking people that what's the problem, what are the problems that you are having. And he was an expert in that subject, in the health matter. People don't know, and people don't know about the medical. So when he asked question, what's the problem, people used to explain him that this is the problem, and I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that. They are used to explain them around 10 to 15 minutes about their problems. He was asking open-ended questions. They are explaining their problems, and he used to write some medicines and give them, and they used to buy those from the local medicine store. So that is how a doctor sells his product and service, with less talking, using the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle. He was gathering the information from the prospect, from the customers or the patient, and by using the information, he used to sell his product and services. So he also went through the selling process, and this selling process really fascinated me. And most of the people think selling is not a cup of tea for them, but it is really a skill that worth learning, that is worth spending time to learn. I really fascinated by learning sales, marketing, and all sort of things. And if you like this video, if you like the content that I have explained, the kind of content or the kind of sales process that I have explained, and if you want to add more and more things to this video, you can comment down below, so that I would be able to make more and more effort to make this video more interesting. And the video is all about sales, and if you want to develop these skills, you have to practice all sort of things. You have to practice to identify the problems, you have to practice to ask questions, to listening. The listening skill is very important. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. And one more thing is, please subscribe to our channel, so that we'll be able to motivate it to make more such an awesome videos for you. So I hope this video has given you some clear intuition about the sales process and how the selling process works. And thank you guys. This is Rudra Prasad signing off.